Casey Hutchinson, who worked for Mark Meadows, she had given a bunch of testimonies, 3 of them actually, and then she changed her mind. And apparently Alyssa Farah from The View had a hand in that,
Very loudly. I do want to give kudos to ABC's Rachel Scott, who's just amazing, and Katia Gova did an excellent job holding his feet to the fire. And there is something about when women challenge him that he unravels. And what I was struck by wasn't just the blatant racism, the lack of understanding of what it means to be biracial. I've said this for a while. He is slowing down. He's never been a super eloquent person. He did not seem mentally sharp.
So she doesn't like Trump. You know who I'm talking about now, this woman on The View. Well, apparently she's good friends with Liz Cheney, and Liz Cheney wanted to get in touch with Casey Hutchinson, and Casey Hutchinson somehow knew Alyssa Farah, and Alyssa's trying to allegedly coach her on the side to get her ready for the J6 testimony. And according to this new report out of, I'll give credit to our friends over at Post Millennium, they reported this first. According to this new report, they believe that Liz Cheney should be investigated by the FBI for possible criminal activity stemming from her work on the House Select Committee on J6. She's, quote, accused of colluding with witness Casey Hutchinson, who testified before the committee and was an aide to Mark Meadows, who was the chief of staff, of course, at the time. This goes on to say that based on this evidence obtained by the subcommittee, numerous federal laws were likely broken by Liz Cheney, the former vice chair of the J6 selection committee, and these violations should be investigated, they write, by the FBI. Evidence uncovered by the subcommittee revealed that the former Congresswoman Liz Cheney tampered with at least one witness, Casey Hutchinson, by secretly communicating with Hutchinson without Hutchinson's attorney's knowledge. This secret communication with a witness is improper and likely violates 18 U.S.C. 1512. Such action is outside the due functioning of the legislative process and therefore not protected by the speech and debate clause. What the heck was she thinking? Unbelievable. All right. And by the way, we get text messages. I'm going to get to those in a second to show you. But anyway, there's a law, right? 18 U.S.C. 1622 that she may be violating as well. It prohibits any person from procuring another person to commit perjury. Based on this evidence obtained by the subcommittee, Hutchinson committed perjury when she lied under oath to the Select Committee. Additionally, Hutchinson was interviewed by the FBI as part of its investigation into President Trump. The subcommittee sought a copy of the FBI Report 302 documenting this interview and Hutchinson's statements, but the FBI has refused to produce this vital document. The FBI, they write, must immediately review the testimony given by Hutchinson in this interview to determine if she also lied in her FBI interview, and if so, the role former Representative Cheney may have played in instigating Hutchinson to radically change her testimony. So she radically changed his testimony. This is so crazy. There was a House report back in October, and it revealed effectively that there were several months prior to the explosive public testimony that Hutchinson gave, and in those prior months, Cheney, quote, communicated with Hutchinson both directly and through an intermediary, the View girl, Alyssa Farah Griffin, who Hutchinson said it was represented by her attorney, Stefan Passatino. The Select Committee conducted 6 transcribed interviews of Hutchinson. In total, Passatino represented Hutchinson for the first 3 interviews. A text message from that report shows that Hutchinson's friend, Alyssa, reached out to Liz and that they agreed to keep the conversation totally confidential. Cheney, through Alyssa, told Hutchinson that she admired her and could do anything that Hutchinson wanted in terms of doing the right thing. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So I've got these text messages. It's wild. So Alyssa Farah was out there talking to Casey Hutchinson. I know you're busy, but is there a chance you've touched base with anyone regarding what we talked about Tuesday night? So I guess this is Casey reaching out to Alyssa. And Alyssa writes back, hey, yes, so I reached out to Liz. That would be one Liz Cheney. She agreed to keep our conversation totally confidential. She said she admires you and could tell that you wanted to do the right thing from your testimony. Her one concern was so long, something about you have counsel. She can't really ethically talk to you without him. Okay, so she knows, right? That would be witness tampering. But what she suggests is a follow-up with you, with your lawyer, that she and Dan George can lead. Probably can do without other members and Tim. Does that help at all? I can tell she really wants to work with you and is just trying to figure out the right way to do it. And Casey Hutchinson writes back, I mean, do you think this is actually of interest to her at this point, or is it moot? Like, have they moved beyond it? Oh, she writes, it's very much of interest. She basically wants to structure in a way that you're comfortable, and she wants to make it clear that if you speak to them again and she's not asking, that you just don't get in trouble. Because you know what? You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna be accused of witness tampering, because that's what it is, right? If you're talking to the witness and she doesn't have her lawyer there and you're not telling anyone, how else do you slice that, guys? Is this witness tampering? Is it witness tampering? Okay, so let's go to the text between Liz Cheney and one Casey Hutchinson. Casey writes, hello, this is Casey Hutchinson. I'm sorry for reaching out in this way, but I was hoping we could have a private conversation. I could have a private conversation with you soon if you are willing. To which Liz writes back, I would be happy to. Let me know what time works for you. She writes, I'm free all day for a call or in person, whichever you prefer. I really, really appreciate this. And then, da-da-da, give me a call when good for you. Liz writes, is now okay. Casey writes, can we aim for 1? That works. I'm sorry I missed you. Please call when you have a moment. I'm worried to initiate the call in case you're tied up with something. So it is believed that the two of them spoke. And this is what the House is demanding answers to, especially given that one, Liz Cheney, was very adamant about how illegal it was to actually talk to witnesses behind the scenes, and that was criminal and it was witness tampering. Remember, we had to get a whole song and dance from her on this. Let's watch.
Allegation she made at the close of this week's hearing that witnesses coming before the committee have been threatened by people close to Trump.
Do you know who was doing it?
I don't want to comment on that. But it's very serious. It really goes to the heart of our legal system. And it's something the committee will certainly be reviewing.
So you think some of the testimony you received wasn't truthful because people were threatened?
The way that I would put it is that it gives us a real insight into how people around the former president are operating, into the extent to which they believe that they can affect the testimony of witnesses before the committee. And it's something we take very seriously. And it's something that people should be aware of. It's a very serious issue, and I would imagine the Department of Justice would be very interested in and would take that very seriously as well.
In fact, Cheney told me that the committee may make a criminal referral to the Justice Department recommending that anybody that attempted to influence witness testimony before the committee be prosecuted for witness tampering. Robin?
All right.
Okay? So she's making a big deal about how nobody can talk to the witnesses. And then what do we see? She's talking to the witnesses. There's a text message of it. Unbelievable. And you know what's really eerie? So, you've got the girl from The View somehow involved in the tangent here, allegedly helping, coaching her, Casey Hutchinson along the way, then putting her in touch with Liz Cheney. And then Liz Cheney goes on The View, and here's how it's all going down with Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, no wonder ABC is freaking out. They just had to pay $15 million. I wonder if they're going to have to pay more.
Do you see yourself, and would you ever consider being the conduit to that third party? Because I don't know if the Republican Party, as we knew it, will survive this. Because if he ever gets in again, we'll never have any more elections. There will be no more. He will stop it. And he's very clear about that. He wants to be dictator for life. Okay? So I wonder, would you ever consider, please, would you please consider being that person? Because I got to tell you, I don't understand how people can say, we're with you, we're with you, we're with you, and then when you need them, they go, oh, but we're with him now. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that, and I don't understand how you find the grace not to be pissed at folks.
Oh,
you're not. You know, you're mad at them, but you're not pissed at them, because if you were pissed at them, you would have given up on them, and you haven't.
Well,
and so, would you?
Look, Liz, I think that...
I'm begging you. Look, I'm on one knee.
It's all about power. Thanks to our friends over at Newsbusters for that. You see, though, it's all about power. Like, Whoopi's falling all over her. They're all falling all over her, saying, oh, you're going to be the one to run for president. These people are all about collecting power for themselves. And they're so hypocritical in the process. I mean, it's just filled with hypocrisy. On the one hand, she's not allowing witness tampering, and then on the other, seems to be engaging in it. So I think the House is right to ask for this investigation. They need to investigate Liz Cheney. They need to investigate The View host. They need to investigate Casey Hutchinson. We need answers on this, especially as we learn, of course, that, they lied to us. You were a conspiracy theorist if you thought the FBI had any informants in the crowd. And in, the whole J6 issue, I mean, that was crazy talk, remember, until this.
That there were a total of 26 confidential human sources in the crowd that day.
David Spunt is live from the Justice Department. He has got the news for us. David.
Sandra, 3 of those were authorized and tasked by the FBI to be there on January 6, 2021. We're coming up on 4 years since that day of the Capitol riot. This IG report specifically focuses on the FBI's handling of confidential human sources, or as we know them, FBI informants. For years, the outgoing FBI...
We were lied to a lot. And I think we need to clear the air and find out the truth. And I think electing this president was a big part of this. We need the truth.